Hello Pisces, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I'm back here to do your first reading with me here in the year of 2024. Happy New Year to you. I'm saying this almost on the brink of February, but well, if you were celebrating, Happy New Year, of course. So I'm going to shuffle on camera, and I was tuning in with your energy, Pisces. Well, if you haven't looked at any of the other readings, I feel like I'm still continuing like a process from, well, maybe all the way back from Aries actually, but specifically it has become more clear in the last readings, I guess from around maybe Scorpio and forth. So there's something about a specific path that is, I hear, necessary and definitely needed. I'm not sure it's needed for you, you know, but maybe needed for others or humanity, or like a process you could go through or have access to, that can be of help. Being a healer of some kind or a helper of some kind. Okay. And what I heard was something like, open your heart and let it stream. Like, just let it stream out of you. That light you may have, what is in you. Pisces is considered in the zodiac the oldest zodiac sign, but also the most spiritual, watery spiritual consciousness and sign, house and sign in the zodiac. I see Pisces as, like, if I look at a person, an elderly person, even, you know, from being a wise patriarch or wise matriarch person in the family, you know, someone who has wise advice or knowledge about the world. Like, you've had a life, you have lived a long life. If you have come to the age of 80 or 90, right? You have lived a long life. You have experienced different things. You have an experience with something. And it's there can be wisdom here for those who want to listen. Pisces for me also even goes further, like further along, to the point where a Pisces is, we know that with elderly people who die from natural age, the speed they had, the activity they had, the muscle power they had, it's slowly but surely deteriorating, right? Eventually they can be in bed, maybe they can't get out. Definitely on the brink of dying or passing on into the afterlife, there is probably a passive state, a passivity where they may be lying, sleeping, so to see, so it may seem, right? More or less unconscious. But the heart is still beating. It's a state of transition. I believe that this is a state where we are accommodating to leaving, the soul is leaving the body. And in that state, it's releasing itself from the body to move somewhere else. This transition also tells me something about Pisces, like there can be a fleetiness, an invisibility, a evaporation of something that is, you can't quite touch it. It's there, but it's not there. It's there, but it's not there. I've said before that there are things to be found in the non-form, right? Everything that is non-form we know about, even just space in a room. We can't, grasp it like that, but it's still there. Dreams, visions, also nightmares, everything that is happening in the dreamscape or in the untouchable place, or unreachable place. You have a dream. It's very vivid and very vivid and very real to you, but others cannot see it. So I have Page of Raphael here. Gentle, loving, dreamy, open-hearted comes out here. Page is young. Gentle, loving, dreamy, open-hearted, which is definitely watery, right? It also says a new emotional situation, messages regarding relationships or social invitations, great intuitive insights. So maybe new or young Piscean, trusting here also. Open-hearted usually requires a certain amount of trusting. Maybe a cooperation with something here. Because again, I said that Pisces has this, one of the shadow sides of Pisces is escapism. So they run away if something becomes too heated, too dramatic for them, right? But we also have to understand the nature of Pisces, right? It's a water sign. It is extremely sensitive. But it has nothing to protect it, like the Cancerian and the Scorpio has shield and claws. Scorpio even has a poisonous tail, right? Pisces is here without any armor, without any weapons. It can't leave a smoke screen. It can't leave anything. It has no claws, has no teeth. Well, maybe some have, but in general, it's slippery, it's quick, It's there and then it's not there. Then it's off, right? It's there but not there. I get a feeling of like something needs something needs a lot of trust. And I've said in maybe the 3-4 latest readings I've done here in the new year, I've said something about if it doesn't fit you, don't wear it, don't take it, don't claim it. If you are not ready, if it's not right for you, if it's not you at all. I've talked a lot about autonomy. Is this really you? Is this like even if we can be seduced, right? We can be seduced into believing all kinds of stuff about ourselves. We can be seduced to believe all kinds of negative stuff also, I've said also with our, like the moon readings, we recently had a full moon in Leo, which is about leadership, inner leadership. It is about sovereignty. It's about, you could say, owning who you are. Like standing by yourself, sovereignty, autonomy, things like that. Leadership. But I also said that like next year we will have another full moon in Leo, giving us a new chance to take on that leadership crown if we are not ready, I'm not saying people should necessarily postpone their journey or their awakening it's just for a sensitive water sign, I would say, And I have the feeling that it requires trust. Like for Capricorn, they had to choose it, a new, maybe controversial path. Aquarius was on the path in it, but also feeling, you could maybe say, a bit of the heat of it, right? That it's and I get a bit of the same here, right? Open your heart and let it stream. And I have the feeling for that to happen and even be okay, because again, opening a heart well, I still feel like I have to go a bit back. I'm sorry, but in the Sagittarius reading, I talked about this idea of if you are primarily at your core a peacekeeper, someone who wants to peacefully coexist with others, then you are fueled by the peacefulness, the kindness between you and something else, the cooperation, because those that are like you, they will do the same as you. They will kindly participate and coexist peacefully. On the other hand, if you are a competitive person at your core, you are fueled by more drama, I would say. You are fueled by the confrontation, the possibility of winning something, the possibility of claiming, owning something, winning whatever it may be, a discussion, a competition, a political election, like a military run, I don't know, whatever, even competition against elements, like climbing a mountain. So if you climb the mountain and you stand on the peak, you as a little person have conquered the big mountain, right? That can give you like an ego boost. And if you are fueled from that place, that is what you're going to do. You will seek out anything that can somehow put you in a situation where there is a possibility of winning something, owning something, conquering something, controlling something, even domineering something. But you see, if these people end up together, like they will never, in the Sagittarius reading, I called it an unsolvable equation. Because what fuels one doesn't fuel the other. Peace doesn't fuel a competitor, and competition is disturbing the peace. So that is very as shortly as I think I can say it. If you want to know more about it, please go back and look at the other readings, right? But it's like if they come together, one will try to make peace and the other will try to make competition, because that's what they need. That is what fuels them. It is what gives them vitality. That is what energizes them. And it's like if you put them together in the same room, this is going to be draining. Like for both of them, depending on, well, if you are a competitive person raised in a peace home, where everything is about peace and harmony and balance and quiet, and, you know, this person is going to like burst in flames, or, you know, like this competitive gene in them is not at all nurtured. It's not at all given a chance to show itself, prove itself. It's not mirrored also. And of course, vice versa. If you are a very sensitive peace person put into a very competitive home, you will be on like overwork. You need the peace. So you will try to make peace. You will try to create it. You're always working on trying to dim everything down. You will never have peace, right? So I feel like I'm talking to people with these readings who could have had either experience, either of them. And it's frustrating for both of them, exhausting perhaps for some, to be with or in environments with people that kind of don't get it, right? They don't get it with you, depending on which one you are. And maybe there are others, right? There are probably other kinds. What I'm talking about is opposites primarily. Opposites in some way that are fueled differently. If you are with people like you will relax more. It's easier. It's way easier. The communication, the like lifestyle choices, where you live, the things you like, the pace, maybe the food, the hobbies, the interests, they have a certain expression. And in the competitive realm, if you are with other competitors, you will always be somehow, there will always be someone whom you can have your ping pong with. Right? Ping pong requires another person, where peace doesn't require another person. So again, you can have a loner here, and you could have someone who has many people around them, because they stimulate in many different places. The ping pong is different depending on who they are with. So again, we have opposites. So just that is like the theme, I think, about these readings. And knowing your core is going to show you where you probably will find most ease or satisfaction or fuel, life force fuel, vibrancy, health. Right? And if you are somehow in a situation or with people in a family where you feel exhausted, drained, and so on, it's probably because you are not fueled by it. It's not right for you. You're not fueled by it. It exhausts you in some way. It's maybe even painful in some way. And I feel like I'm opening your heart and let it stream. I almost feel like it's like just show what you are. Show who you are, right? When you show what you are, you will have at least two options happening. You will figure out what kind of people are like you and what kind of people are not like you. Because you will feel it. You will know it. Well, no matter what kind you are, you will know it. So the more you show, I feel like, of what you are, and to a certain degree, I guess that there could be degrees or varieties. We say we are a mix of energies, so there could be, but I feel like if you have the capacity to just open and let it stream what you are or what you need, because what you are usually also represents what you need, or what you want or prefer, right? At least to be comfortable. And here I talk about that, like, this is your core. I'm not talking about what your ego wants, what the world wants. Like, this is something you have figured out if you have done shadow work. Like the core expression, you don't get that unless you have worked your way through the stuff that prevents you from being what you are. I want to say, not who you are, but what you are. What are you? More than who. The who indicates an I or a person, and a person can have different egoic desires and things like that. But it doesn't tell you anything about what you are. Like the core driver in you, what is that? So in this case, are you peace or war? Are you introvert, extrovert? Are you in or out? Are you indoor, outdoor? What are you? What characterizes you? not the shadowy version, not the things you do, not the mask, not the things you do to please society, family, or the friends, lovers, whatever. The one you are when you are perhaps, alone in your pajamas, or you are out hiking alone in the woods. Facing the elements, facing the rain, looking for the deer to hunt, What is there? Like, what do you feel? What is this is what you are. And I have this feeling that you have to trust what you are more than this idea of who you are. And again, I've also had like a feeling in these readings that this is not about gender. Like, this is a core fire or a core life force thing. It has nothing to do with this persona we try to build around ourselves. Like, we are a specific seed. And it's that seed core, this what you are, that I think is interesting to figure out. Everything else around it is just something we built. We built, or others have built it, like the upbringing we've had, the parents, the traditions, the things we find familiar. We have learned to somehow belong to this group. If you were born on the other side of the earth, you would have other traditions, values, worth, whatever. So what are you? The what, I think, is more important than who you are. The who is something that has to do with the persona that we somehow built. It can even be the ego. So when we talk to the who in you, the ego can express itself all the time. If you talk to the what are you? It's something else. At least it can be. And finding out the right fuel for you, or, well, environment. For an introvert, for instance, silence and alone time is necessary. This is a primal need. For someone who likes attention and activity and, again, competition, like they need to be outdoorsy, or they need to be active in some way. And they need someone to have the ping pong with. It makes them more outgoing because they seek it, right? They have to have a relationship. They have to have something they can ping pong with. So this is important because we can put ourselves in environments and we can be attracted to things that are difficult to handle. Attractions sometimes meet up, but I believe that attraction that put people together, that magnetizes them towards each other, it's simply to get to know something about yourself. You're not supposed to stay with them, because this is highly problematic for each of them, unless you are very wise, unless you have lived a long life and the partner you are with has expanded their awareness, have gotten over their own ego decisions, and is able to have a conversation, a spiritual conversation, instead of an ego conversation about sports cars or something. And this is where the trust comes in, right? This is where what you stand in front of, you have to know what you stand in front of. But sometimes this can be very difficult. That's also why people sometimes want to change their partner. They are attracted to them. They hook up, they are so in love and everything. And then, of course, it's because it activates the shadow in each of them. So of course they get together, everything is so exciting and beautiful, and this is the love of my life. And then weeks passes, months passes, and then if it becomes more uncomfortable. You get to see more and more of this person. You don't get to see only the nice things about them that you got attracted to. You also get to see the other stuff. And this is where sometimes one would like to change the other. You get into quarrels, you can't seem to figure it out. Because you're actually standing in front of your opposite. You have different values. This is problematic to solve. Who is more right? For these relationships to work, usually one is yielding. They have to. One is yielding, and the other will then be the leader of this relationship. But it's not going to be probably long lasting. And even if it lasts long, one will be very unhappy or becoming very unhappy over time. I know this is a generalization when I say it like that, but you have a look at it in your own life, even if in your family. I just feel like we have to become aware that when we stand in front of something, you can have a male and a female sensitive you could say sensitive, maybe watery, understanding, empathic couple, that because of this common trait, they can actually have probably a more peaceful, maybe more comfortable, at least in the long term, relationship with each other. Or we see them as friend. They become friends here. The attraction may not quite be there, but it's not like that, because it connects with maybe not the sacral chakra, it connects with the heart. So I feel like the trust to open up and show who you are, just let it stream, it says. I want to say it is a learning curve. If you trust yourself enough to just show who you are, no matter what side you are here, and I get it, like if we have had our heart broken, if we have been disappointed or overwhelmed by something, like this opening of a heart is not just something we do, right? It's not just this is scary stuff then, right? It becomes for a sensitive Piscean or watery Piscean fish here. I want to say this is like, this can be a bit overwhelming, but I also feel like people have to see, right? They have to know. And you have to know. Like, the more mask we put on, people can't see it necessarily. They don't know exactly what you are. And you do not know either exactly what they are. If we somehow just let it come out and show ourselves, even show the sensitivities, you will know in your body if you have flight responses. You will know that what you stand in front of is not comfortable for you or even safe. And safety and trust is necessary for a Piscean to be able to relax. It has to be in good hands, safe, good hands. Otherwise, and your sensitive antennas will tell you this, right? It will tell you. As a Piscean, you're born with this, like this has been following all your life, but I get it, like you could have been growing up in a, like a, as I said, maybe a competitive home, right? Where everything is black and white, us and them, and either you're on the winning team or you're a loser, right? You're too sensitive, you take everything to heart, you're a crybaby, or whatever could have been said, right? And well, for a little Piscean child that cannot get away, like they have to buckle up then they have to learn to show a different side of them that is adaptable, that can somehow manage out there. But it's exhausting, right, to put on a mask like that. Very exhausting. But this world we live in also is like, it is definitely masculine favored. So everybody, no matter what zodiac sign or combination you have, we somehow have to be strong, adaptable, quick, active. We have to look good. We have to be desirable. We have to be an asset, right? We have to be viewed as an asset. We have to be productive, reliable. It's all very masculine, and we are asked to be that. Even those that are actually quite feminine are asked to be that. So when we buckle up and become more masculine, others can actually not see what we are. I have been doing some work to kind of demasculinize myself, but it's not an easy process. I become more sensitive to the world, which is actually not very, it's more difficult to be here actually. I need another life, you could say. I have to have another life that can accommodate this. But unless I show it, I show others that this world or what you present for me to be part of, I cannot. I cannot and I won't. Like, this is going to, then you will flatline me. So if you want to kill me, you put me in there. You just throw me in there and then I'm done. And this is what I feel like on a bigger scale actually happening for the feminine at the moment. We say the rise of the feminine is here with the fifth dimension. And I believe this is true. But the rise of the feminine can be extremely sensitive to a warrior Kali feminine. The feminine can get pushed to a certain point that eventually it becomes Kali. It becomes like a really survivor warrior, you could say, feminine energy. And I'm just, where I say, just don't push me there, right? Don't push me in this, because, well, you may have all the resources to push me there, and then I will be gone. But you see, if this happens all over the world, well, the masculine will be winning. Great. But there is no feminine left. I believe, I've said that a storm is coming. And it is. It's already here. For some more than others. This is a storm of love. But how it will show itself is probably that the feminines will have more self-love of who they are and show it more. The masculines could take charge and try to conquer it. If that happens, the feminine is almost destroyed. What now then for this masculine, right? What now? It's like, the movie of King Kong and this beautiful woman in the white dress. King Kong is this huge monkey, right? Like he is as tall as he's a giant. But somehow he falls in love in this. Well, I do this because that's how it looks like in his eyes, right? His hand is like this and she stands here. That is how tall she is, right? He could crush her at any time. He's way bigger, way stronger. He even has animal instincts. But for some reason, he adores this little woman. He would never harm her. She is not a threat to him. He loves her beauty. He would never hurt her. That's not how he sees her at all. And I think this is exactly what is supposed or needs to happen. That people, the masculine dominance, you could say, of this world must acknowledge that there is no enemy. Or that the feminine is not an enemy. The druids, the peacekeepers, they're not enemies. They are maybe different than this other energy, but they are not enemies. So we could still figure this out. There's no threat unless you make it one. There is no threat unless you make it one. But history tells us something else, right? History tells us that there are powers that can destroy, break, torture, enslave. So of course we don't just open our hearts like that. It would be great if we could, but that's not the world we were born into. So there is something about trusting a change here, a change within you, and also realizing that when you change something within you and you start maybe behaving differently, there will be a response to it. There will be a response. And getting to know what you stand in front of and making very clear choices of what you engage in is important. If you open your heart and you show what you are, yes, people will have a reaction. Either they want to conquer you, if you are sensitive here. Either they want to win and maybe conquer you, or they actually see the beauty of that. They realize, oh, this is a friend. This is a healer. Right? I see that now. I guess I'm just gonna respect that, you know? And this is something we all have to figure out. So if you are a happy, jolly Pisces, probably this reading is not for you. This is for those who are feeling that they suffer. They see themselves as struggling empaths or something, right? With a sense of being vulnerable and feeling, like there is a pressure on them somehow. And again, this autonomy is extremely important. That you take charge of where you are, of what you are, and where you are supposed to be and not to be. No matter if people get angry or bitter or disappointed, or you get yourself out of that job that is not right for you. You get yourself out of those relationships that are not right for you, where you feel exhausted, where you feel not acknowledged, used, misused, or even just taken for granted. Okay, let's have a look at the center card here. 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Earth. It says 8 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles. I saw it as 8. Interesting. 3 of Pentacles. 3 of Pentacles talks about cooperation. Working together with something else. And 8 of Pentacles would say something like seeing the result of your labor. So, and actually it's interesting because I feel like both is interesting for you here. So if you invest in something, you work with someone, or you want to help or assist, you want to join, assist, be a friend here. You may also need to look for the 8 of Pentacles. You may need to look for the result of your labor, right? That what you are investing in is actually yielding something. So you're not just investing in someone who is a taker. That eventually something is, it looks like it has paid out. It looks like it was well chosen, or your time was not wasted, you could say, or maybe they pay back even, right? That there's something returned in some way. Sometimes the return doesn't come from the same person. The return may come from somewhere else. That is also a universal thing that we sometimes have to get to know about. That because we have this very conditional thing going on earth, that if I lend you this money, you pay it back. If I help you with this, you help me with this. But sometimes that's not how it you could put in a lot of effort somewhere, but you will receive a gratitude or a reward or something from somewhere else. But you don't know it up front. Some are takers, like that's how it is. Let's get the bottom of the deck here for this one as well. We have another Earth card, the Five of Earth. Yeah, the Five of Earth is a terrible card, actually. It talks about, well, Five of Pentacles is maybe like being very poor. Sometimes this card is shown as people walk in the street and they barely have clothes on. They walk in the winter time, it's frosty. They can look inside other people's windows where there's a warmth and dinner, but this is feeling outside in the cold, excluded, not invited in, not having much. Maybe not even have shelter. This could be a feeling of being homeless, without nothing here. So from a very lack orientation, that is the driver here. So whatever this is, maybe you have been left by something or someone, and they gave you nothing. Like that, it could be the feeling of being out in the cold. Maybe someone is not there anymore. Being alone here. And feeling the coldness of that. Like this idea that I'm all by myself. I'm unprotected also. For a Piscean, it's not great, right? Unprotected in some way. I don't have shelter. I don't have, as I said, the fish doesn't have like an armor. It's unprotected. It's alone. It may not be alone, but feeling alone, feeling unprotected, unsafe. Not having what is supposed to be to manage. Like not having what it takes to manage. This also means like not being able to work enough hours perhaps, or in some way feeling less than. And because of that, well, sometimes we have to bend ourselves, right? Like if you are suffering here, you're starving, you have nothing. It's like we are at the mercy of others. Right? We are at the mercy of other people. We're at the mercy of other people wanting to give us a hand here. Work with us. Not just putting claims on you, Not just putting a lot of claims and demands on you, but actually realizing that this was the starting point. So to work with you, to maybe yield a positive result from the 3 to the 8. It has to accommodate, like the working together has to accommodate the starting point. So you could say the working together here could be someone who knows what this is like, right? Like maybe from this point, like working together means that maybe it has to be a bit slow, or there has to be days where you're not working. You know what you are working with here, what you are trying to, again, the trust must be there, right? From this place, feeling very isolated or alone, nobody cares. I don't know if you have seen any of these videos. I just think about them now. Sometimes there are these videos on YouTube with like very scared animals that have been found somewhere, injured, scared, starving dogs, for instance. And they are brought to a shelter and they are given medical care. And then you see for a while this dog is facing the corner. It's not even looking at the people there. And if you try to touch it, it cringes, right? It's not at all open for contact. Even if the people that are there, they're very gentle and kind, and even if they are like gentle and kind and they don't push the dog, it still cringes and like pushes itself against the walls of the room, right? Or the walls of the cabin it's in somehow, right? It hides under the bed. It won't come out. It needs a bit of time to adjust and to trust, right? So I get a feeling of, again, this could be abandonment, right? That heartbroken and abandoned here, left, or feeling very, very unsafe, very unprotected, very alone. Maybe again also, as I said, with Piscean energy, the unprotection feeling is maybe the sensitivity, right? That it's like there's so much already. How can I somehow work with someone here? It has to be in a certain way, right? It has to come in maybe very slowly. It has to be gentle. It has to respect me, right? It has to respect it has to respect where I come from. Because if it becomes too big or too much, or the demands is too much, or it's overwhelming, I run right back here, right? Then I could go back here and buckle up and escape and run away, right? If the demands become too much, a corporation, it seems like And it was also so with the other readings. It's like something seems like it's calling. With Aquarius, it was this idea of like a north node, like a path seems to show itself for Aquarius, that it's supposed to somehow go here or somehow talk to something, somehow work with something here, someone or something. But to do that, at least in your case, Pisces, I would say the one that comes in here, who is supposed to help Pisces, like it has to be very gentle. We had the first card that jumped out this page of Raphael. It said gentle, something gentle, loving, open-hearted, something like that. And that's exactly what I feel like. In order for trust to be restored, the sense of safety, it cannot be quick. It cannot be overwhelmed with a lot of demands. It has to be slow. It has to be built up over time. The sensitive, maybe outsider here feeling, it has to be dimmed down and replaced with some kind of trust here. To have the Eight of Pentacles, to actually see a benefit of this cooperation. So again, if you take your time, you want things to be slow, it has to respect your wishes. No matter how big it is, no matter how, as I said, it could be another one on the other side here. No matter how big it is, no matter how, it doesn't really matter. It still has to respect your wishes, maybe your boundaries or your current boundaries. Because there's a memory here, right, of something. And this memory is difficult to just, like erase like that. This has been the driver forward, like you want out of this feeling. So you're realizing I may need to work with something here. But what I want to work with has to somehow also respect my boundaries or my current state of being, I feel like. My current state of being. I don't know, this can be someone who has been to war. Like, they could stand with like PTSD. This came up in, was it Capricorn, I think, Capricorn reading. Someone who has really been through something very traumatic. And if that happens, it won't be right to expect someone who has that memory embedded in them to not have it. Like the respect of this. Like if we know the story, and maybe that's also what I get here, like open your heart and just let it stream. Tell your story, right? Like tell the story of what you have experienced. Because if you don't, people don't know it about you, right? They don't know that you may have suffered in some way. They don't know about your PTSD or your terrible war experiences. They don't know about the violent, abusive relationship you were in. They have no way of knowing. as I said, these shelter people, they knew the story of the dog, or at least they knew some of it. They knew that the dog was found bound and starving in some kind of hut, alone, abandoned. The owner had left the house weeks before that. Nobody came by, nobody fed the dog, nobody took it out, nobody cared about it. That they knew. This was what they knew. They may not have known the full story, but they know enough to understand that, we have to be a bit careful here. And when we see the reaction, we do understand, right? The empathy allows us to understand the cringing, maybe even the biting, maybe even the rejection of food, the trust is not there. So we can't force trust on someone. It has to be earned, you could say. Trust is earned if you have somehow been in a very difficult situation. So either you are dealing with someone who is in that or has that, or you have some of this yourself, Pisces. So to open your heart and work with something here on an equal level requires trust. It requires patience from this other party, right? It requires it does. It requires trust. It requires patience. It requires that, because if it comes in too quickly here, it crushes everything. As I said with King Kong, like he could easily crush this little lady here if he wanted to play with her in a forceful manner, or in what he suggested it was a fun thing. But he was way bigger and way stronger than her. In that way, she's way more fragile or vulnerable. He could easily toss her around, but she would not be happy, right? She would become very frightened of him. Her beauty would disappear. She would withdraw it and become frightened of him. So if he wanted the beauty to come out again, the blossoming, he needs to make sure that she doesn't feel like that. I feel like any Piscean knows this. So maybe I'm talking to a cross-watcher here who needs to get to know this. Right? That if boundaries somehow have been invaded, or boundaries have been stretched or overwhelmed in some way, or your finances, your security, like earthy security, has been tested again and again here, and you have found yourself begging in the street and being homeless. I even get something like orphanage here. Orphan. An orphan, even if they grew up in an orphanage, so they had, they had a place where they stayed. There were maybe other children. There were maybe some employees there. And there was a roof over their head, and they had a bed. it's not the same as feeling secure and safe and feeling loved and appreciated and valued and feeling worth in life. It's not the same. If you had loving parents around you, it would be totally different. So whatever the circumstances here were, because it is a driver, so I want to say were, whatever is going on right now, some kind of corporation, something you want to be part of, something you want to join. Again, I had this, like Sagittarius had this, and Capricorn also, like a Capricorn, this wand, like there was this new path, maybe controversial, right? But there's this path and I want to go there. Aquarius, the same thing, like there was this call, like a north node call, that this is what I am perhaps. So I'm going there, right? I'm going towards it. And now I have the same feeling. It's like it could be the feeling that now you have gotten there. Now they are actually standing in front of you, this person or this other, this situation, this place, maybe this country, I don't know. Maybe it's an institution. Maybe it's a priest. I don't know who this is, right? And there could be like a feeling that I know that this is the right one to cooperate with. But it's like they have to know, right? They have to know that I feel like I want to say damaged. Like they have to know that I'm damaged in some way. Or that I have scars here, right? Wounds or scars. So it's important that trust is created, a trusting environment, a safe, trusting environment, peaceful, kind, understanding, gentle. And this is basic stuff for a Pisces, right? At least when we're dealing with this, as I said, if you're this competitive, healthy, vibrant person, that's not you, right? This is a special situation. Again, don't make it fit if it's not your story or you don't have someone in your life who is somehow. Just don't make it fit, right? Usually, I feel like my stories or my readings they tap into very specific energy. So this is a special energy. I want to say it actually requires Piscean energy. It requires someone so sensitive, so kind, so peaceful, so patient, for something to actually maybe become a success for the 8 of Pentacles. From the 3 to the 8, there is this, the progress that is needed is through trust. And the feeling of gentleness and this constant adaptation to what is the patient or the person here, the client or whatever this is, what are they ready for? Like a constant adaptation to that. Because if you push too hard, as I said, escapism, you can run away, right? the portal keeper I have here. This is on the left side, so this can indicate, you would say, a past situation, or maybe something you've been dealing with in the past. I see this as like a guardian of maybe your heart here. That you have a guardian here who is protecting your life force energy, your heart perhaps here. For a sensitive, watery, Piscean fish here, I would say this would be your heart area, water here. So you have a guardian here. Of course you do, right? Especially if you have been dealing with something like that. At the bottom of the deck, I get this one, radical expansion here. So have a look at the imagery of this one. We have a little person down here, or she's here, right? Can you see her? And there is this giant dragon here around her. It looks a bit transparent to me, like it's I feel like it's part of her. But you see the difference in size here? As I just said with King Kong, and like it's like this giant, I feel like a bit elusive or transparent. It looks a bit like glass transparency to me. Fleeting, evaporating kind of form here. And it comes from the heart chakra. So something can come from the heart chakra. You can just open it and let it stream, right? You could do that. But for some reason, and I think it's like this dragon has something, like it knows something. It is, as I said, you're the older sign. Like you're the one who has been around for the longest. There could be some kind of ancient wisdom here. In the Aquarius reading, I talked about like a wise man, like one of the wise kings that came to Jesus' birth. The 3 wise men. It showed up like the Hierophant. It felt like an old wise man. All brilliant, very clever, very knowledgeable for Aquarius, very wise, old knowledge. And big, like she has this, she embodies this, but this one embodies way more. Even if it's more elusive or lighter or less dense, it's way more actually. So radical expansion would say an heart expansion. You let, and I felt it like open that heart and let it stream, let it just let it out, let this come out, right? But then you have a portal keeper here of this. Something is here that is saying, nah, I don't think so. And this is, of course, we know that, right? It's because it may be dangerous to have an open heart expansion and show everything here. If I show everything on my first date with someone, if I tell them everything I know here, I could be very hurt here. I could We could even say that if I should open my heart here, what comes out is a monster. I normally I don't see the radical expansion like that, but you know, what is it that is coming out if I actually open my heart and I told my story, especially if it's a story like this? What would come out here? And maybe I'm not prepared, right? I feel unprepared or unwilling. Or it feels as such a big energy that it's like I can't hold it. Like I can't seem to, it's like the frame is not big enough. Like my body is not big enough to hold this energy. And you know, this can be, it can frighten me. It can definitely excite me maybe, but it can also maybe frighten me, depending on what it wants to say here. I feel like with this around, I want to say this is something that feels like this. This has not been wanted. Like it has this feeling that if I open my heart and let this out, it's potentially, it can lead me here, right? Both of us, it can lead us here. There's a story here, a history line, maybe a bloodline, that if I show this, even though this is a very big part of you, and you may love this, you may actually really, really, really love this about yourself, but it seems like others don't. Like if I let this out, I could get in real trouble, right? There's a keeper here. Who is not necessarily botching. You have a guardian around your heart, a protector here. Because if I'm supposed to show this, I want to make sure that I'm not in danger, right? I want to make sure that. So this one is quite particular. This could be like an active nervous system, or, you know, like active antennas. As I said with the fish, like it has to somehow scan, right? This is like a scanner that scans. And if it seems like this is not the right environment, I'm out of here, right? We are gone, right? Only certain places can we actually be free, right? Only certain places can I expand here. And if I feel the contraction in my breast area, it's because the environment I'm in is not safe. Again, as I said, there's trust needed. Like for this portal keeper to relax and to just take a break. There has to be, it has to be a special kind of person or environment or place or therapist maybe here to make this portal keeper relax a bit. This is on the left side, so this can indicate past. Like a past experience that you have been sitting with a therapist. And you can feel the like this uncertainty, like I don't like this. Well, they seem like a nice therapist, but I don't feel comfortable enough to share what it is that I actually have here. Something is off somehow. Or if I truly tell them, they will not understand. They will not get it, right? They will not. Maybe they won't accept me. If I should actually tell them what this is, I would cross a line, or it will be unethical, or whatever it could be seen as. So I get Page of Gabriel, energetic, brave, optimistic, and playful. Follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge, opportunities for excitement and adventure. So this guy holds a wand. This, again, it feels like exactly the same wand Capricorn had. He had tried other ways. He had already tried other ways, but it was not great. It didn't energize him. It didn't make him feel brave or optimistic or playful about life. He found another one and he's following it, even though it's controversial, even though it's not normal, or even though it's like stretching boundaries. But as long as you hold on to this one, in Aquarius there was something about becoming your own guru. Like you have a wand here that is yours and you stick to that. And or I said wand's energy can be, it can be like a go-getter energy. This is a choice, right? A desire or a choice to follow a specific path or to work with something, but it has to be the right one, right? It has to be the right one. And you will know, because if you feel energized, if you feel braver, more optimistic about life, maybe even more playful or more trusting, more safe, I would say also in this case. You will know, like if you have this feeling, it has been the right one. It has been the right one here. The right friend, the right therapist, or the right environment. You will know the difference. And they would have helped you towards the Eight of Pentacles, so yielding a result of the labor, so not feeling like this anymore. Maybe feeling more, I believe in myself. I have gotten a sense of passion back, perhaps. I have a vision in life maybe now. But at least I want to say confidence perhaps also here. Confidence that I can do this. Again, I get a feeling of autonomy, even though it's a page. So it's a new feeling. It's maybe a young, unexplored, like you haven't really felt like this before. It's different, it's new, because it's pretty much the opposite of this, right? This is someone who's with you here, like they are with you. You're not alone on your journey, and they support you and trust you here. They would say, follow your passion. You're ready for any challenge. They are encouraging here. They are encouraging you, even if it is a guide, even if it's your dragon here, even if it's spiritual. even if it's a ancestor, even if you have the ability to talk to deceased ancestors or other kinds of spirits here. Maybe a spirit is making you brave. Maybe it's a soul, some kind of soul help or guides, angelic helpers that are helping you here, but they make you feel more brave. And again, I feel like it's because you're trusting the corporation here. At the bottom of the deck, I get 2 of Ariel here. It's important to have balance, working multiple jobs or projects at once, making work fun. I feel like when I look at this is the driver, so it's down here, right? What I get from this is actually more like it's like he stands on one hand here, on the edge. It's almost like this one who is with you or whom you decide to trust here. Like they can make you trust in yourself so much that it's almost like you're doing, I wouldn't say crazy things here, but you're challenging your bravery here. You're challenging your human capacity almost. Right? It's like it's pretty far down here, and we only see the top of the mountains here. It's like being very, very high up. Turning like he stands with only one hand and upside down. So it could be that this helper here is somehow helping you, first of all, to like really get your perspective up, right? Get your perspective up, like in a metacognitive way of seeing things, seeing from above. Become an eagle here. Get distance to whatever has been a problem here. Get distance to the wounding or the situation or people here. And build yourself strong here. When you are away from it, I invite you to my temple in the sky. And when you are here with me, we are now working together on building your perspective about things. And you become, I don't know if I would say otherworldly, but he's standing here on the edge on one hand, learning how to balance his life, building strength, but also seeing everything upside down. Maybe there have been certain circumstances about this where you felt limited. You felt like you couldn't, you had no choice, or you had to stay or something. And it's like this is giving you a chance to maybe consider if you do have choices. It's like rocking the boat, like rocking convictions, rocking convictions, asking you to see. I feel like in a gentle way here, asking you to see that you are more. And there are choices. Not necessarily easy ones, right? But there are choices that could take you out of here. And if you can't seem to get out of this yourself, you need someone to shake the boat. Otherwise, you're stagnant. I feel like, for instance, people who feel trapped in like the hamster wheel, right? They have responsibilities, they have children, they live in this maybe a fancy house, they have expensive cars, they have, like maybe expensive or they have a certain lifestyle that they want to uphold. So they work a lot, but they also feel kind of trapped in it. Well, in order to change that, you probably have to change your lifestyle. You could sell your house. You could move somewhere else, which is way cheaper. But yes, you will, maybe it requires a different job also, working less hours, or you're not commuting, like sitting in the queue for 1.5 hours every day. Maybe like making a change it's definitely going to confront all your the currency of your life, the here and now, the here and now status. But if you truly need a change and you feel trapped and you don't see how to get out, or you are somehow stuck, like something new is not going to come in unless you make steps for it or you allow it to. So you could sell your house. You could start selling some of your fashion clothes or jewelry. You could start adapting a totally different lifestyle. But yes, your friends will probably disappear and not understanding what's happening. They will try to call you back into the arena with them. But that is, you could say, the sacrifice of a change. A change comes with change. But it's just to say that there is a choice. It's not that there is no choice. There is expectancy, there are demands, there are other people's values, there are probably potential quarrels, discussions, unease, tension. Yes, if you are questioning the current, or if you are challenging your current circumstances, that is for sure. But you will also know who your friends are, won't you? If someone is actually sitting themselves down and saying, oh, I see that something is happening. I understand that you are unhappy maybe with your life. I can see you are about to make maybe certain really big changes. I just want to let you know that I'm here for you. I don't know exactly what you're going through, but it's probably massive. I understand. And I'm sorry, instead of those who will just point fingers and say you're crazy and what you're feeling or what you're going through or what you're experiencing isn't true, or it's just you're just having an episode or being hysterical or something. You will know who your friends are. If you actually start just opening up, you will know who your friends are. And if all your friends disappear, you probably get new ones. Maybe not right away, but eventually you will probably find others who are into the same stuff, or like the same things, or think like you, or act like you, or are very spiritual, maybe, like you, I think here. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. Neptune is called like, Neptune has this dream state like to it. We can talk about fantasy here. We can also talk about illusions. But it's definitely like I want to say dreamscape like environment where fantasies and dreams and visions and maybe hopes and faith and, I don't know, romance, that something is there. Romance is a very typical Neptune thing. Like the romance, a crush feeling, which is, well, sometimes people say that falling in love or being in love, having a crush, is a bit of a, it's not a reality feeling, right? It's like we are in this bubble together with someone, but when reality hits, it's like we suddenly see things differently. But while we are in the bubble, it has this unicorn. It's very rosy and golden and flying on these rosy clouds together. It has this hallucinatory, almost intoxicated feeling to it. I also believe that, like, Piscean energy can sometimes tend to like the intoxicated feeling, because it takes them out of the harshness of the world, right? The experimentation of mind expansive drugs, for instance, like ayahuasca or something. That could be a thing for Pisces, right? Like entering this hallucinatory dreamscape. Because it's maybe, like it seems more colorful, it seems more, but maybe you have, like you've had a fear here of something. But I can't do that. I can't just trust that. And again, because as I said, Neptune can come with illusions also. Illusions can be, as I also said in the beginning, nightmares. This can be the downside of, you could say, the Neptunian romantic dreamscape, like that there is this other one also that can feel more like a ghost hunt, right? That something haunts you or something. That could be why you have this one. So Neptune has these sides to it. But I feel like there is a cooperation here that potentially is going to lead to the Eight of Pentacles. So seeing a result of your labor, you are feeling differently here. Like you're braver. Again, standing like this here definitely talks about bravery, right? Bravery about balancing something within you, accepting something about yourself, accepting maybe a sensitivity, maybe some psychic gifts perhaps here, and feeling like more energized, maybe more autonomous. I've had that in several of the readings, like more confidence. And maybe this even becomes a passion of yours, right? That you that you decide to own this. You decide to own this. I don't know who you're cooperating with here, but it could be like a guide of some kind. It could be, like a dragon here. The point is that it's somehow supposed to help you out of some kind of maybe loneliness or outsider feeling here. Can we have another card on this Three of Earth here? She is shown with wings here. She could be a guide, a helper. Could be like a deceased mother, or like communicating with something that is on the other side, perhaps. We could talk about faith here, religion, something like that. So I get this card here. It says abundance, fortune, wealth, and plenty. Like this actually feels a little like I want to say almost like a life source well. Like from this, like from feeling so depleted here of something, and helpless and alone and starving, to now standing in front of someone here who has plenty to offer of understanding, of love, of gentleness, it's like a total opposite, right? Like they have so much to offer here of understanding, you just have to trust it, I feel like, right? You have to trust that it's here to help you. This one has 4 arms. So this could be a guide of some kind. Something that is around you, with you. Yeah. I just want to look at the text here because I can't remember who she is, this one. Because there are, of course, goddesses or that we can ask for help, right? But we need to ask them. They need permission to somehow interfere. Yeah, it says the goddess Lakshmi here. The goddess Lakshmi holds out her hands in divine offering, and the universe responds with such abundant blessings that gold coins come cascading down. The gold in her gown and on her neck, ears, and wrists shines with the life-giving light of the sun. Life-giving light of the sun, which radiates upward from the top of her head. She is the light of the world, bringing boundless generosity. This portends a time of great joy and receptivity for you. The prosperity you've been longing for is coming your way. An investment may pay off, or an unexpected windfall may appear. But even if the increase in wealth comes slowly at first, the abundance is sure to expand as you allow yourself to focus on the present value already in your life. always remember that value comes in many forms. There is good fortune in nature, friendship, and the simple moments of small joys. This grateful awareness will shine in your life like the sweet violet aura around Lakshmi's luminous being. At her feet, baby elephants herald the arrival of true prosperity, bringing with them an energy of strength and peaceful certainty. This card is telling you to rest assured, for great joy and prosperity will soon be expanding throughout your life. This is marvelous, right? It's like there is a possibility to work here with something. An energy, or if you like to see her like this, imagine her as a friend here, a life-giving friend who can, I feel like it's almost like, you know, like if you had very low batteries here, almost like exhausted, right? That your fortune or your money was exhausted, feeling very poor, alone, abandoned, an orphanage, an orphan, loveless, a loveless place here. I feel like she's coming in with everything that you need to restore that life. And that's also why this is here, right? You may feel more energetic. You may feel a bit braver and more optimistic because she's right here, right? She's right here. It's just about the trust. Like, do you trust? Like, do you trust her enough to receive and allow her to, because it says in the book she's offering something. She's offering it to you. Are you able to receive it? Again, I feel like if she has a way of offering something that is very, very gentle and in the right pace at the right time, you know, you can have that cooperation. She's offering certain gifts here, life-giving gifts. And it seems like here on the left side, which can talk about like future or immediate future or some point in the future, there will be I feel like an upgrade here where you feel braver and you hold this wand bravely, right? You hold it. You have been like this is the 2, right? 2 of Ariel is like I want to say it's a bit like the 2 of Cups. It is very kind. It also takes you, I feel like with this image, it's like you've been somewhere with them. Like maybe you are astral traveling at night with them. Like they're showing you something here about yourself. Maybe you are dreaming with them here. But it's like a joint venture with the 2 here. It's like a joint venture of that the balance is important, right? For you to have balance, you have to know who you are. And sometimes distance makes this easier to see. Where you have felt really unhappy, where you have felt more balance, the distance, the solitude, or the connection here feels, I have to say, like, it feels better, right? It feels maybe slowly better, like slowly better, but slowly is maybe exactly the right pace. You know, it's for someone who has felt really. Can I get one more card on this 5 of Earth here? The 5 of Earth. Yeah, I get hostilities here, right? Maybe you feel like you have been very alone fighting for your life. This has been very difficult. Hostilities and 5 of Pentacles, that makes sense. It's then he has his sword of, as I said, there is a protector here, right? Like a sword. It's like you have a sword that it has constantly been up here on guard. Being on guard, when you stand like this, you don't trust what's in front of you. You expect the worst. You don't trust what's in front of you and you expect the worst. As I said, if let's say you grew up in circumstances where you have felt like you had to fight like that all your life, you had to be on guard all the time. Of course, you would have a portal keeper here to your heart. That is, of course, you would. But I feel like the portal keeper is not necessarily like, this can also be like a card where it's like you're on the brink of opening up a portal here. You can open up a portal if you work with this one, right? If you are accepting them. It has shown up now as a dragon, as a cat here, with very green eyes. You know, like they look strange. It's a fantasy cat, right? Like a cartoon cat, or like a cartoon dragon here. It looks imaginary. It looks foreign, maybe. She has 4 arms here. She could also look foreign, right? Or unfamiliar somehow. There could be a feeling of working with something unfamiliar. It's not normal, right? It's not normal. Other people go to therapy. You work with your spirit guide. An imaginary cat here. You know? So this is trusting something that maybe you can't even see it. You know, when people trust in God, what is it exactly they trust in? Like, what is it that you are praying to or for? What is it you are trying to connect yourself with when you believe in God? Jesus is a different thing. Jesus is still not living, but he has at some point been a man. He has been in a physical shape, and he walked the earth like any other human being. So we can better maybe relate to Jesus in some way. He had a human form. Whatever this is that you're relating to here, I don't think it has human form. And if it has human form, or it decides to have human form, it could have still some kind of unfamiliarity about it. It can still be kind and friendly, but unfamiliar perhaps. Can I get a card on this portal keeper here? So I get 8 of Pentacles. So there's something about the 8 of Pentacles here. I did say 8 of Pentacles, right? About this card. That the 8 of Pentacles here is, well, he has put in work here. He has put, the 7 of Pentacles talks about putting in the seeds, making certain changes, allowing something to possibly grow, right? And the 8 is now about gaining a result of it. Now you start to see a result. You have a bonus. You maybe there's a windfall somehow. There's a little mouse here. And here I said there was a cat, right? You could work with something here that actually can open up a new portal for you. Or a new life, like a shift in some way. A shift from whatever this is to something else. But as I said, it's like, you need to put something in there. Like you need to trust that when you do this, it's going to come closer to you. It's just like put in the positivity and the gratitude of what you currently have, because this, I feel like, is a driver. So this could have been in the past. You are here now. So a shift from this awareness to this awareness is positive. Here you are quite alone. Here there's someone with you, helping you move forward. Have a gratitude for that. Every step where you feel like something has shifted, or even if I don't see the, like enormous wealth in my life, maybe you feel better. Maybe you have more balance, as it says here. Maybe you feel you are somehow braver, or that a little more life force has returned. You're not as exhausted, or you're not as on guard all the time. Your shoulders are down. Maybe you sleep better. Like, just be grateful for whatever change you feel. And whatever is here, like, I really feel like it wants to help. It wants to help you to an abundance, whatever that is. Like, if this is war, post-traumatic stress, abundance is probably peace. Like a feeling of peace. Peace around you, peace in you. Peace in your heart, peace in your mind. That would be an enormous relief for a post-traumatic stress victim here. So abundance can come in many forms. And the adaptation is maybe slow, respecting your pace. But it is here. That's what I want to say, where in the past it wasn't. It wasn't there. It is here. So something is around you. Something is, and you can open that heart up to really feel it, sense it, maybe even seeing it. Like, if you truly trust it, it can be a matter of faith at the moment, perhaps here. Maybe you even think, is this just my imagination? Or can you just sense it? Feel it, hear it? It's like the feeling that there's something around you, advising you perhaps, or guiding you in some way. It was very strong. Capricorn definitely had the wand. They knew that what they have tried in the past didn't work out, and now they were setting off on a new direction. Aquarius definitely also. Like feeling like a call that someone is like telepathically, or maybe even just in a phone call, calling them to move somewhere, to go somewhere, to trust something. To allow for the wise man to come in, or for the dragon here to work with you, right? Or Lakshmi here. Like, she's a goddess of infinite abundance, life-giving infinite abundance. And in the Aquarius reading, I saw a window in the background, or a sense, maybe it was a portal actually, now that I see this, right? But there was also a sense of like a window or a door or a portal or something in the background, and she was standing right here offering something. Now it comes across as, like this portal could be like the feeling of that this place here is like an infinite life. And this one is a manifestation of it, so that we understand it, right? That this would be infinite life source. And this is just a representation of it with offerings, right? It offers something. It offers something here. Like it has come, it has come from this place, whoop, like that. And now it offers something that is life-giving. Something you can understand. The human brain doesn't become afraid of this. It understands it and can take it in bits and pieces, right? The portal keeper talks about unique gateways to mystical experiences, psychic abilities, raising your vibration, expanded consciousness, the Akashic records, past life ties, exploring the edges of reality for significant messages, seeing between the lines, and multidimensional awareness. So this could have been something you have been looking at in the past. I still feel, though, that like the portal keeper can invite you to join them, right? They can tell you a story here. I feel like it's a messenger. They tell you about gateways. They tell you about your psychic abilities. They help you raise the vibration and expand your consciousness. They tell you about Akashic records. It's like a teacher in some way. As we become more sensitive and aware, we are more receptive to mystical experiences. We can realize there are overlaying realities that seem just as real, if not more vibrant and profound than the familiar everyday ones. There is a theory that space and time are constructs that allow our human mind to grasp sequences in chronological order and enable us to orientate and move forward through reality. In their current evolution, humans are only using a small portion of their brain capacity. If we unlock our mind's potential, what would we fathom that we can't now? This is the information out there. There is information out there that isn't real to us until we glimpse it with our senses. The beings of Lemuria evolved with a different kind of intelligence. They were skilled at harnessing energy from natural and abundant forces such as crystals, the heart of the earth, and the moon. They could share complex information without words. The Lemurians operated with multiple realms at will and could disappear from human perception. Technologically, they were in the same location but in an overlaying reality, a parallel dimension which could be very different. Psychically advanced people can sense discarnate souls, elements in nature, and spirit guides. They can also see information in energy fields. These perceptions, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience, are still connected to this reality, but are examples of what can happen when we raise our consciousness or train ourselves to the subtleties of what is happening around us. In essence, we share our physical location with overlaying beings and energies, and can raise or lower our vibration to match and enter these realms of reality. So two people in an identical environment can have different experiences. One may thrive and enjoy the opportunities of the moment. The other may see only the negatives in the situation. Here, one or both parties may be traversing realities on a micro level. These micro realms may look very similar, but the way we feel, the reflections we see in others, and the way circumstances unfold are aligned with our vibration. So it's great to be conscious of our energy and the way we can optimize our experience of life. Like attracts like. It is important to keep this in mind if you are considering traversing deeper realms, as it is an endless rabbit hole. Set your energy field to the highest good and ensure your intentions is primed for the places you wish to journey to. Again, I feel like keep gratitude, as if possible, like keep that gratitude. And I feel like it's going to help you forward. You will see something change if you put in the seeds to it, right? So work with it, like not against it. It's an opportunity. But again, well, like people may not get it, like your best friends, I don't know. I think religion has somehow been accepted that you want to join a church, right? And you want to be part of that community. But there can be other ways. We know that like throughout history there has been many goddesses to worship, or gods, like druids probably had theirs, shamans have theirs, we could have pagans, or what we call witches, like they have other things that they work with. And well, many people have been hunted down throughout history and killed for some of these reasons, right? And yeah, I get a feeling that some of the knowledge that is here would probably could face hostilities if you just shared it like that. You just poured it out. But then again, I had this message in the beginning that said, just open your heart and let it stream. Just show people who you are. And yes, some of them may react like this, right? Like they may really not like it and threaten you, right? And it can make you feel on guard again. On the other hand, you will know. On the other hand, you will know whether this is your friend or not. So if you are brave enough to actually stand by what you are here, I think the hostilities could be over. It depends on, are you willing to go the route? Are you willing to choose this? And say goodbye to things in your life that and that can of course be like a difficult thing. Let's say you have children and responsibilities, and in that way, again, I said maybe it's supposed to be slower, right? The adaptation is maybe supposed to be slower then. Because if it becomes too much, you can't align with it, right? And your circumstances are different. Some of you are young. Some of you are established in marriages and have children. Some of you are maybe older. Some of you are maybe even elderly. The circumstances are different of what we feel like we can join. I just want to say, if you feel like this, it requires a change. And if you have post-traumatic stress, for instance, which is embedded in your brain and your body, you need help in some way. You need something to trust. And I want to say, post-traumatic stress, well, of course it depends on what it is, I guess, and if you have a memory of it. If you don't know what it is, you just know you're on guard, it can be more difficult, because a therapist would ask you what happened. Maybe you don't know what happened. Maybe this is just because you have a sensitive nervous system and you feel everything around you. How are they supposed to help with that, right? If you know what it is, you have a war experience, or some kind of abuse experience, the therapist would ask you. If it's a very good therapist and they really know something about post-traumatic stress, they can actually help you. I have felt in my case though that I couldn't explain like a trauma. I didn't know. It was concealed from my consciousness. I had no idea. So when I sat down and talked to these therapists, it just didn't feel right. I didn't feel safe. I felt exposed. I couldn't. And eventually I wasn't quite honest. I didn't tell them everything. And the sessions ended at some point. I still felt crappy. And some find relief with God or Jesus or another deity here, Lakshmi, for instance, right? Some find relief in talking to a friend in some way. Some children have fantasy friends. Maybe you had that, Pisces. A fantasy friend, you know? I just feel like there is definitely something here. I don't know the shape of it. I don't know what it looks like. But it's definitely there to help you somehow. And there is a possibility to lean into it, like to trust that part of you. You know, like I recently saw a film on Netflix that talked about some young football guys who were supposed to attend some kind of sport camp, football matches. And they were eager to go, and they had to fly to this town. What happened was that the airplane crashed, and they found themselves in the icy mountains during winter time. And so they were shaken totally out of comfort zone. Healthy, vibrant, fun, humorous, chatty boys, you know, were suddenly faced with something very hostile here. One of the rather dramatic things about this, they actually survived there in almost 3 months, which was absolutely unthinkable with the circumstances and how freezing it was at night. It's unthinkable that they could even survive there. And one of the ways they survived, they were eating their dead co-passengers. And some of them were their friends. This is terrible circumstances for human beings. And it's going to challenge everything you know. It challenges everything you know about life, your ideals. It challenges religion, morals, ethics, what it means to be a good person. So eventually they were like the things that required a lot of persuasion in the beginning became normal over the next month. They had already pushed their boundaries. They were driven by the hunger, not anymore by the person they were, right? The person with ideals and hopes and faith and everything, it was pushed aside. So those who survived, they came back highly dehydrated, definitely hungry, definitely not exhausted, tired, burned from, you could say, snow and sun. They had frosty feet, frost wounds, and they didn't have a bath for 3 months. They were living like, we would say, animals, I guess. When they came back, of course, the families were celebrating. They were happy to get them home. But, you know, if they should tell them, like if they should really tell them what happened up there, others could judge them, right? Others could paint a picture that they were monsters in some kind. The only ones who would actually get it is some of the other survivors. Because what happens after this, you come home, you suddenly have a warm bed, you have food on the table, there's family there. They are happy that you survived. They want to do the best, they want to give you the best treatment. But they don't get what you have been through, right? They don't understand how all your boundaries have been pushed to the absolute max. How you saw yourself change and behave in a certain way to survive, to not die there. And your will to survive pushed you to do things that you would normally not do. Why I'm saying this is because what they did is that they, many years after, they were still living with like an after effect of this in them. A sense of bad conscience, a feeling of, well, I survived, but in some way I didn't. I'm still on that mountain. I still relive some of this. I still feel the horrors, the harsh cold. I can't include myself and see myself as a normal person, because what I have experienced, I cannot be like the others who are just sitting there jolly and feasting, having a good jolly time, talking about ordinary things, weather, what to wear tonight, or and if you have experienced something like that, it pushes you to a place where it's not easy to participate in that ordinary safe life. I don't know how it is for them to return, but I saw that film, and I know that they got together, these survivors. They got together and were somewhat honest with their experience, and they made a, I guess, more or less honest picture of what that experience was like. And it's supposed to allow others to just have a glimpse of what that was. I know there have been other films like that, surviving, even though it's actually not possible, right? But the things you are supposed, or you see yourself do to survive, is then something you have to live with for the rest of your life. And telling those stories, speaking this, is only understood if people somehow maybe have experienced something similar. Otherwise, it's and that's what I feel like with the hostilities. Like, there could be this feeling that if I share this, if I say this out loud, I will be an outsider, right? I will be a traitor or a monster or something, right? That I would be regarded as so strange. That what it is I am participating in here is so radically wrong, maybe. So people will not like me, right? That I will be marked. I will be marked. There's a label on me now. If I open my heart and tell this, yeah, I will definitely know who is my friend or foe, right? But when it's out there, it's also shared. So I can't really take it back, right? But you see, these guys who survived this plane crash, they were living with some of these, you could say, secrets, or these stories, these experiences, and everything, all the boundaries that have been pushed. They lived with that aftermath, no matter whether they shared it or not. Like, no matter whether they shared it for the world to know or they didn't share it, it was still there. And I think after many years, it's like they just gotten to a point where we want to tell this story. We have tried all the other ways. We have tried the counseling. We have tried the therapy. We have tried meditation. One of the things we haven't done is actually tell the story. All of it. So if we tell the story, maybe, some will judge us, right? But maybe there will also be people who would suddenly see things differently around them. And maybe it could be healing, right? Maybe it could be healing to you could say, you can even get to the point where you say, when they make the film, the benefit of the film, whatever the film earns, can now be distributed among them. You can even, as we say here, if we take this 5 of earth here, and you put the 3 of earth in it, 2 and 5 of earth, you could say you could benefit from your worst terror. You could actually earn money. We know people do that online, right? They talk about their traumas. They talk about narcissistic abuse. They talk about maybe their handicap, a visible handicap. Or they talk about their story. They share their daily life with this circumstance. They live with schizophrenia. They have a channel. They talk about this. And people, they listen to it, right? Because they want to know, or they have similar, maybe they have a brother or sister, or they are themselves struggling with something. So even if it's tough to make the film, even if it's difficult for them to share this secret or this burden they feel, they are still human beings. They are still the brother or sister of someone, or the son of someone. Right? So it calls for compassion. It calls for an understanding that everyone who has been in a particular very difficult circumstance can have a certain reaction or an aftermath. And to talk about it, to talk about secrets like that, requires trust and bravery and support, right? That someone is there to support you in what you are deciding to do next. If everybody around you tells you you are a monster, eventually you probably believe you are one. It just takes one. It takes one who says, no, you're not. I don't think you're a monster. It just takes one to create a doubt or I hope, you know. It just takes one who says, I don't think you're a monster. I don't think you're strange. I don't think what you're doing is... I think it's great. I think it's great what you're doing. I'll support you. It just takes one. And you'll probably hang on to that one more than you trust the others. But if there is no such one, there is only the hostilities who calls you a monster or tells you you're bad or wrong or something. What you're doing is not tolerable somehow. But it takes just one little voice that says, no, I don't think so. And you'd rather stick with that one. That becomes your friend now. In whatever form it has, I want to say. I would say it can help you out of the hostilities. It just takes one. Who is patient and willing to listen. You have the feeling of like overcome. I'm not quite sure what this... You see here, like this card here about the radical expansion with the dragon. It says living and loving at full capacity, being unapologetically you, self-expression, boldness, having a voice, taking up space, expansion, empowerment, owning your true power, being visible in the world, having fun with your magnificence, letting go of judgment, creative exploration, and radical ways of being. And that's what I feel like, radical, controversial. And I feel like there could have been a lot of judgment on this. It's a driver, so you want to expand. There's something in you that definitely wants to come out and show itself and just have fun and, well, express itself, take up space, you know. Empowerment, believing in yourself, owning that true power, being visible in the world and having fun with it. Letting go of whatever judgment could be. That is definitely here. It wants to expand. But for some reason, yeah, it has probably not, like you have experienced hostilities if you tried to, I think. Like if you tried to take up space, express yourself, be honestly and unapologetically you have experienced that was not liked or wanted, or we talked about the Lemurians here who could open up other parts of the brain, know something, see the future perhaps, or some. Maybe that is what you can do. You can do something here that is so strange, I guess, to the world, that it's going to judge it. But you are getting closer, right? There is like a result of your labor somehow. And I feel like it's probably also linked to this page, like a page of fire here, that kind of, that there's a passion. So something is energizing you here. You are optimistic and maybe more playful with it, it feels nice, it feels like inspirational. You want to figure this out, I feel like. Even though there is a possibility of being judged. And like maybe this is even a bloodline thing, like you have ancestors who have been like this, and even past lives maybe. That for some of this you have been haunted, that there's some kind of the truth that you can bring of some kind, or what you could be saying or sharing, is maybe not popular, like it's going to be judged in some way. So I get another card here, Luminous Warrior. Yeah, it's like you can put light on something. Like you can put light on something that people may not like to see, Maybe you can see people's shadow side. The feeling that you have X-ray vision, right? You can look right through them. Luminous warrior is like a light warrior here, right? A light worker, a light warrior. That could also be what this is, like a beginning, a growing feeling of that maybe I am this luminous warrior. Maybe there is something that I can bring. I do trust it, right? I do trust there's something. I can feel it. I'm energized by this new passion, perhaps, or this new mission. I feel I have a purpose, a different kind of purpose. And it's energizing me. Again, I talked about energy in the beginning, right? It energizes you, whatever this is, and that's why it's right for you. No matter what anyone else says. It is you. That's why it energizes you. And try to keep it a secret or hidden or something exhausts you. Yeah. So be positive about this, whatever it is. It's a part of you. It is what you are. Even if it's, let's say we talk about that here you see yourself as a survivor of something, a survivor of something. But even if you do that, then it's what you are. You have survived something. And maybe because you have survived something very bad here, you want to talk about it, you want to tell your truth, right? It becomes your mission now to tell your story so that other people could avoid this. That is very common, actually. That people, they figure something out and they want to talk about it so that other people don't get into the same mess, the same unconscious mess, I want to say. Or that they are stuck and they don't know how to get out. Again, this feeling I had in the beginning where I said just open your heart and let it stream. It's almost like open your heart and tell that story, right? Like these survivors did in the mountains, the frosty mountains, winter mountains. They decide to be brave and make this film because they had already lived with this for many years. The plane crash was in 1972. And this film comes after 50 years, right? So it's like they have already lived with it for such a long time. Tried to, cope with it and forgive themselves and each other and the grief of all the losses, all the people who died there, their friends. Very traumatic, very, very big, very traumatic, very boundary pushing experience. And I think but they are still here, right? Like we know, people from with PTSD from war experience or car accidents or rape or other kinds of like very, very invasive and life-changing experiences, they are still here. They still live here and they may have families, right? They have children. Some of this lives in the families, even though you don't talk about it every day. It's like a fly on the wall. It's like this ever-present bad conscience or something. It's like or guilt feeling or shame. Many people have this to a certain extent. Some of this has to be said, I think, or shown, or I don't know if you can make money of it. But the point is actually not that. I think it's more something about keeping it inside or locked away as a shame or something. It's not healthy and it's taking your energy away, right? I think you should rather trust it and maybe start playing with it here because it's a part of you anyway. It's what you are. So this is what I have. I still have a feeling that whatever this is, that it's you and it. I feel like you and it, and nobody else may know, right? Nobody else may. Yeah, I hear get it. Like they will not get it. They will not understand. Me and it. Again, when I say King Kong and this beautiful woman, right? King Kong is maybe considered a beast, right? A big giant beast that was maybe, it could be considered dangerous, like a dragon here could be considered dangerous. But you and it together it's not dangerous. Like the woman could just as easily fall in love with this giant ape as she could fall in love with a human man, perhaps. Because it depends on the connection that they have. And that's what I feel like other people would probably not understand the King Kong and lady relationship. They would probably not understand it. They would try to fight, and they did. They tried to fight King Kong, right? They tried to shoot him. He was considered dangerous. He was not supposed to be there. That's what this feels like. It feels like that other people don't get it. Like they don't get it. It would be, the same as the young girl gets a crush on the bad boy, right? The bad boy who has joined a club, and that it's known in the neighborhood that they are drug dealers, or they are they're criminals in some way. But she still loves him. And he her. And family and friends and maybe society would say, but you shouldn't be with him. It's a dangerous relationship, or this is it's unfruit, it's not fertile, it's not going to grow into something good. It will always be dramatic or unhealthy or dangerous in some way. And still I have this feeling, but it's like they don't get it. They don't get this connection. Like the connection could be based on something else. Maybe it's based on this. Like the reason why you have common ground is because they may have something similar as this. Maybe not the same, but they get you. Like the values, they get you in some way, and others just don't. Or maybe they don't come from the same, but they definitely have something kind to offer here. The abundance could even be something like sanctuary. Like, that if I'm with them, it's like we just get each other. Without knowing each other's full story, it's just like we get each other. Because we somehow are connected in some way. And others, they just don't get it, right? So I know that if I participate in this, if I do this, if I pursue this, there will be this sense of hostilities. but they're doing it anyway. It seems like an impossible connection, or it's not. It's really not an impossible connection, but to the world, it seems like it is. To others, it seems like it's a bad choice, perhaps. But for you and them, it's not. It's as simple. It's the most honest choice ever. That's probably the closest I can come to this. That's why I said controversial. It has a, I don't know, maybe racism or danger, or, well, we know wars are fought over religion. Wars are fought over beauty. Even. What was it? The Trojan horse, I believe, was actually a weapon. But it all came down to this queen. I don't remember her name now, but it just popped into my mind that wars have been fought over many things. Money, wealth, power, beauty even, religion. So it could be, something that is involved in something that has these themes around it somehow. And that's maybe also why it's a slow pace here, because there is a sense of danger or a danger or an unease to it. Like a mistrust that has to kind of been worked through. Maybe a sense of power thing. Like if you're working with spirit here, it probably takes a sense of surrender. But you see, if you come from this, like surrender is not I hear an option. It's almost like it's not an option. But maybe it is an option. It just depends on does it make you feel safe? Do you feel energized? Do you feel that it's healthy? It's wholesome. It vitalizes you. Maybe it even gives you mission or passion. You know? Yeah. So this is what I have. I don't think I can get any closer. I'm really trying to, but I just keep seeing like the door is closing, like door closing, like I'm not supposed to see or say. Again, because it depends. When you are ready, you probably will. Maybe you never get ready. If this is a person that you know, and you somehow intuitively, they are carrying a secret, but they are not telling you, and they are avoiding a question or something sensitive like that. You just know that they're carrying something. That's what I feel like. It's like a door that if they get to a point where they want to share that story, then they probably will. If there's a sense of acceptance or tolerance and trust here, safety. So you could have a wish to solve a mystery. And I think if this is your own mystery, it probably will be solved. I just don't know when, right? Because this came through with like patience, adaptation, slow maybe like slow bravery, slow bravery, believing, slow confidence building here also, and things. It's something like that. Yeah, this is what I have. I hope this helps somehow, Pisces. I send you my very best out there. Love and light to you. Bye bye.